Is a quick video to walk you through week 6 task 1 over regressions. So this is still new material. However, there are going to be some things in this session that you have definitely seen before. So in this session, we are looking at tables. Now we've done anytime we see a table, every single time we see a table, we throw that sucker into stat edit. We are going to do the same thing for this week. Except instead of just doing linreg, we're going to be doing quadratic or exponential. For all of the problems that you're having to do, they will tell you what type of function so you know which regression to run. Now, if you've tried to do a regression on your phone, like with the Graph and Calc option, you might notice that there's only a linear regression. So when we're walking through this, the only thing you will have to do for your quick check is take a picture of the calculator that will be given to you and write it into an equation. You will not have to do the calculator steps. You'll just have to do the part that I'm going to write on this paper. So you just need to understand how to go from the calculator to the paper. However, if we were in class, you would need to know these calculator steps, so I'm going to do it on all of these. So problem 1, the table below shows a quadratic function. Use a regression to find the relationship. So in my calculator, I'm going stat and edit, just like we've been doing pretty much all year, actually since you've been in 8th grade. And I'm typing my x's into L1 and my y's into L2 so that my table in the calculator looks exactly like the table on the paper. If you have a graphing calculator at home, please feel free to follow along. We just know not everybody does, so we're going to provide things in case you don't. So with this, when I do stat calc, it tells me it is a quadratic function. So I'm going to go to option 5 for quadreg. I'm going to click all the way down, and if you notice, there's a couple things we're looking at. First, at the top, it tells me quadreg right here. So it says quadratic function quadreg. So this is the screen that I need to be using. Now when I write, and this is the part you will have to do on a quick check, my equation is listed up at the top. So where it says y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. I'm going to write that out first and then use these numbers. So a is 1. So I'm going to replace the letter a with the number 1. B is 0. And c is 3. You could also write this as x squared plus 3. But that's all you will have to do on the quick check. You'll have to take this picture and turn it into either of these functions on your paper or on your quick check. So number 2, we're doing the same thing, just exponential instead. So I'm going to type all of my x's into L1 and my y's into L2. I'm going to go stat calc, and this is exponential, so I'm going to go down to xreg, option 0. And notice at the top it says xreg, we're doing exponential, so this is the right function. That could be a question, hint, hint. So it is a times b raised to the x. A is 1, b is 3. You could also see it listed like this. These mean the same thing because parentheses mean multiplication. So for part 3, same thing, linear. So I'm putting my x's in L1 and my y's in L2. From here, I'm going to go stat calc. This says linear, so I'm going to do linreg. Up at the top, it tells me linreg. It tells me my equation is ax plus b. And then it says a is 0.03 repeating, so that would be 1/3 x plus 4. You could also see it listed like this. Both of those are acceptable. Problem 4, this is an exponential. So I'm going to type everything in and make sure I do xreg. So stat calc Option 0 for expreg. I see exponential equation here, expreg here, so I know that's the right one. It is a times b to the x, so 1 times 0.5 raised to the x as the exponent. Problem 5 is a quadratic. It looks a little different, but I'm going to show you what to do. So my x's are listed. I'm going to follow those through like we see it. Now my y's, I have to follow the arrows to see where the y's are. So when x is -2, y is -21. When x is -1, y is -8. When x is 2, y is 7. When x is 3, y is 4. And when x is 5, y is -14. Remember they said this was quadratic, so I'm going to run quad reg. It is, let me switch colors, ax squared plus bx plus c. A is -2, b is 7, c is 1. And then problem 6, similar thing. Also quadratic. So I just need to type this in exactly like I see it. Stat, calc, quad reg. Ax squared plus bx plus c. A is 1, b is 0, c is -19. You could also write it like this.